Hey, what's up, guys? This is Ryan JAUNZEMIS. Welcome back to Masterpiece Theater. Today we'll be doing a reading from The Ultimate Guide to Picking Up Girls with a Wingman. This is available in paperback and in Kindle ebook. And this is the, well, there's no other product like this on the market. This is the only step-by-step guide that actually teaches you and your, let's say your best friend, your wingman, how to get girls, actually teaching you step by step. Today we're going to be reading from what's called How to Pick Up a Two Set, which means two people, two girls. That could be a hot girl and her fat friend. It could be a girl with a gay friend. It could be two hot girls. It could be a girl and her mom, a girl and her grandma, just two people. And this is you and your wingman versus them. And basically I give, in this chapter is all about a step-by-step process. What happens on this is, there's several different ways to work a two-set. This is specifically a style called the alternate version of the mystery method, which is going to be basically where the primary, that's the PUA, he's going to be going into the set to begin working the set. And the wingman is going to be standing by, waiting for the hook point before he enters in. And what I'm going to be reading you guys, like the other one where I read, if you notice on all of these, all of the different things, when I talk about 1 sets, 2 sets, 3 sets, 4 sets, 5 sets, 6 sets, and even supersets, which are basically 6, 8, 12 sets. Sometimes you're working a bachelorette party. There might be the hot bachelorette, maybe you're trying to get the bridesmaid, and then she's got some other guys, family members, and you and your wingman or wingmen are going to work with that whole group. This is not about waiting for a girl to run off from her friends. This is group theory. We go in and we talk to all of them. We demonstrate higher value, and we upload our DHV spikes into the target's head, and then we either go for a number close, an Instagram close, a Facebook close, or possibly an extraction. Get her into a mini isolation where you can continue conveying your personality and ultimately either extract her from the group and from the venue for sex, or possibly build a time bridge. There's a lot of different techniques. I go through everything in this book. Like I said, there's nothing on the market like this. It gets very, very fucking technical. And it just basically gives you the steps. But what I'm going to be reading on each one of these chapters, I actually discuss, because this is not theory. A lot of these dating gurus or dating coaches, they teach you theory. They teach you stuff that sounds really good, but it doesn't either necessarily work in real life on real women, or they're just making shit up that sounds good. Whereas I actually live this life. I actually go out, use these techniques in real life, and all of these are based off real experience. And then at the end, like what I'm going to be reading you today, I write in what are called lay reports or field reports. Today, I'm going to be reading you, this is at the end of this chapter about the two set, where this is going to be called Lay Report, entitled Michelle, which is actually, this is the story of how I met and ultimately seduced my ex-girlfriend. Now, these are all true stories in here. This isn't made up bullshit. This is real life stuff, and this is me basically writing in a first-person narrative how I actually used the techniques that I do describe in this book. So I think you'll enjoy it. This is, last week I read the chapter on what's called the lone wolf, or a single set, a one girl, and that was called Crystal. This chapter right here, this is interesting because this is my favorite seduction story. This whole thing was basically using all the techniques on point, using the aspects of a wingman, using my DHV routines, using attraction gambits. This was so amazing that when I picked up this girl, when I picked up Michelle, we actually ended up in a relationship, a Facebook official relationship, where we lived together, and we were together for 2 years. Okay, this is how pickup really works. A lot of people think it's all about sex, but why would you go and learn all of these techniques just to have a one-night stand and then have to start all the way? It's like from the beginning. It's like Super Mario Brothers. You know, you get all the way from World 1-1 all the way to 8-4. And then if you do all that work, wouldn't you want to be with that girl? This is about creating relationships. It's not just about getting laid. But anyway, this is how the magic happens. And I think you guys are really going to love this chapter. It was great because, again, like I said, this is real life stories that are verifiable by dozens of people. And, you know, also the girls that I talk about in this book. So anyway, there we go. Lay report. Michelle. Myself and a few PUAs, pickup artists, from the Lair. The Lair is an elite club of pickup artists, seducers, and players that I created in Las Vegas. We call it the Las Vegas Lair. There's a Facebook page if you want to join us and go out sarging with us, which is a PUA lingo for looking for pussy. Myself and a few PUAs from the Lair were all out sarging at the Blue Martini for the evening, a trendy little locals bar located in Las Vegas's town square. Really good spot. My buddy CJ, he's on the cover of the 7 magazine with me. My buddy CJ was already in set with a young hottie over on the balcony smoking a cig. And I was out near the dance floor with my buddies Richard and Carlos. That's my target right there, I told Richard, pointing towards a sexy little red-headed girl who was standing on the edge of the dance floor shyly against the wall with a friend. A 2-set. I walked over and approached the obstacle first. The obstacle is anyone in the set who is not the target. You and your friend here look like trouble, I told her as I pointed towards her and the target, Michelle. Open. That is me opening the set. Haha, takes one to know one, the obstacle replied. IOI. Indicator of interest. Haha, you seem fun. I like that, I told her. Positive reinforcement. Comes from dog training. Anytime your target does something that you like, you should always reward them. Hey, I like that. I like that about you. Just then, Richard entered into set with Carlos, ready to initiate a crowd control tactic, which I had taught them in class. Meaning that Richard and Carlos, my wingmen, were going to bombard the obstacle, keep her at bay, keep her distracted, occupied, while I move in and work the target. There you guys are, haha, I said to Richard and Carlos. I was now completely ignoring the set and turned so as to face my wingmen, so as to give them more value within the set. Meaning that my wing guys were behind me, I completely turned around to ignore the target and the obstacle because I want them to know that they aren't as valuable as my wings. I roll with my boys. Kind of like that old saying goes, bros before hoes. Richard then turned towards the obstacle. So Richard, my wingman, turns in towards her. How do you know my friend here? He asked her. Haha, no, we just met, she replied. This is a bad man right here. Haha, this is the guy your parents warned you about, he told her. AI. Accomplishment intro. Basically, he's making me look like, he's not a nice guy. This is the guy your parents warned you about. So she goes, He looks like it, haha, she replied laughing. IOI. Indicator of interest. Richard and Carlos blocked out the obstacle, and then I moved in to open the target. Crowd control. So basically, I took a step over to open my target while they bombarded her, let's just say. My target was wearing a cute little black cocktail dress and shiny green eye glitter. It made her beautiful green eyes sparkle even brighter. I have a thing for eye glitter. As I opened, the target slowly glanced up at me. So she was shy and she was kind of like looking down, and then she looked up at me like that. All of a sudden, once I saw her face in the light, I had noticed that she looked like a beautiful princess straight out of a video game. Either I had found Zelda or Alicia Silverstone's twin sister. Looked just like her, gorgeous. This girl was beautiful, I thought to myself. I gotta hold it together. I noticed you got the eye glitter on. I like it, I began, opening. You missed a spot right there, though, I said, pointing towards her cheek. But it still looks fine, though. Neg. That is, negative. Kind of like a veiled insult or a backhanded compliment. I wish more girls would use eye glitter. So basically I said, I noticed you got the eye glitter. You kind of missed a spot there, but it still looks nice. So I'm not saying, you are so beautiful, I love your eye glitter. Because then what could she say? She'd say, thank you. She'd take my validation and put it onto her validation belt. But if I say, I like that, you kind of missed a spot, but it's cool. I'm showing interest, but not that much. I always want to calibrate. The target smiled and looked down at the floor submissively. I could tell she was shy. So she kind of like smiled, and then her eyes went down and then back up. Come dance with me, I told her as I held up my hand. Compliance testing. So I said that very dominant. Come dance with me. Held up my hand. I expect her to take it. My target took my hand. Compliance. And I dragged her out to the dance floor, employing a salsa spin Kino compliance tactic, and then took out my camera. So basically I had her hand and I spun her around. Then I took out my camera to see if she does selfies. What's your name? I asked her. Michelle, she replied enthusiastically. You? IOI, indicator of interest. I'm Ryan, I replied. Can I have your candy bracelet? She asked me. I was wearing a candy beaded bracelet in accompaniment with my white button-up shirt and slacks. Shit test. I'm gonna tell you why. Basically, I was wearing one of these, which is like a little candy beaded bracelet, and I call it chick bait. Something for my target to comment on. Makes her start a conversation with me. I take it as a shit test because if I give it to her, she hasn't really earned it at this point. She hasn't done anything special for me to give her some of my power. Haha, didn't your parents ever teach you not to take candy from strangers? I advised her jokingly. Haha, she laughed, but I want it. Shit test. Nope, I refused. I don't know you well enough yet. Neg. But maybe I could call you tomorrow and we could get to know each other. Are you single? Shit test passed. Whoosh. Cut the thread. Fractionation. Stacking forward. Qualification. I am, she answered. IOI. SOI. Indicator of interest. Statement of intent. She just told me that she's single. She's interested. I pulled out my phone to get my target's number. But just at that moment, the battery light flashed and my fucking phone turned off. Fuck my life, I thought. It was a bad mistake. Went there. I was about to just get her number to say, you know, what's your number? What's your email? I'll send you a picture of the selfie that we took. And my fucking phone died. Dude, I exclaimed. My phone just died. Let me use my buddy's phone. Okay, she replied. I walked over to Richard, who was still entertaining the obstacle with Carlos. The three of them were taking random drunken selfies of each other, simply just being fun and playful, and keeping her occupied and engaged, whilst I handled business. Bro, my phone just died, right on the fucking number close, I told him. Here, Richard replied, Take mine. I took Richard's phone, and Michelle gave me her number. I then handed Richard back his phone. Number close. Dude, I don't know how to save the number, I told Richard. I didn't know how to use his phone. I'll text it to you right now, Richard replied. I told Michelle that I had to get going. She smiled happily and went back to her friend. Later that evening, I had arrived back at the house, and, as promised, Richard had sent me Michelle's number via Facebook Messenger. He had wrote, Michelle, 702-622-XXXX. I can't tell you that part. Call her, he wrote. I called Michelle the following morning at 10 a.m. to follow up. I always try to call the next day. I say fuck the wait 2 days bullshit. She could have given out her number to any number of guys that week. First one to follow up could potentially get the girl. That's my rule. Hey, is this Michelle? I asked. Yeah, who's this? She replied. It's Ryan, candy bracelet guy from last night. I replied. Fuck, I fucked up, I thought. Who? She asked me confused like. From Blue Martini, I reinstated. Ha ha, oh, the guy with the tattoo on his neck. Ha ha, hi, she replied. What you up to? I asked her. Drinking beers, she replied. Hanging out at Cabo Wabo with Lisa, my friend from last night. Ha, this chick is a party animal for sure, I thought. Nice, nice, I replied. Well, I just wanted to call and say hi. It was nice meeting you last night. I'm on my way to work right now, but just wanted to say what up. Oh, okay, cool, she replied. I'm meeting a client right now, but I'll add you on Facebook and hit you up later on, I told her. We exchanged Facebook information, and I told her that I'd send her a friend request. I'll hit you up later on, okay? I told her. Okay, cool, she replied. So I didn't ask her out. I wasn't like, hey, so you want to hang out? I just basically called her up. I was like, hey, it was cool to meet you. I'll add you on. Cool, I gotta go. I'll talk to you later. Just to kind of be like, wait a minute, like, how come he didn't ask me out? Like, and this kind of will fluster girls. So I do that on purpose, because I can ask her out later. First, I want her to accept my friend request, and then look at all my cool pictures of the interesting life that I lead, like skydiving, building ice rinks, and then I want her to see me with pictures of other beautiful women, basically to raise my value. That's going to keep her coming towards me. We call that DHVing, demonstrating higher value, or ARVing, which is called acquiring real value. Some people, they make up fake DHVs. They're just like, oh yeah, I own this club or I own this restaurant. It's a DHV, but it's a fake DHV. Better to ARV. Anyway. I hung up the phone on her mid-sentence, attempting to create a sense of mystery as to what my intentions might be. I wanted her to think to herself, hey, why didn't he try to ask me out? What's with this guy? That's how a pickup artist does it. I sent Michelle a friend request so that she could look through all my pictures on Facebook, so that all of my recent DHVs would thus be uploaded into her head. That is, my recent pictures of my public speaking at dating coaching seminars and Lair talks, my new skydiving pictures, my music pictures, my ventures with soap shoes and all of my pro rollerblading tricks, pictures of me with other girls, thus demonstrating pre-selection, etc., 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 thus demonstrating to Michelle that I was a fun and interesting guy with cool friends and lots of fun, exciting, and interesting things going on within my life. A life in which she might just want to become a part of. Michelle accepted my friend request, and I called her up the following day. My buddy Adam Sowell, aka Adam Van Wildest, a former RSD instructor, Real Social Dynamics, was throwing a house party that day at his mansion. Yo, I said as I called up Michelle. Hey you, she replied. My buddy is throwing an awesome house party today. You and your friends should roll through, I informed her. Lisa went back to California. I'm with my friend Michael, she replied. Oh, cool. Well, he's definitely welcome too, I told her. At that moment, there was an unusual, elongated pause on Michelle's end of the phone. My heart began racing with anticipation. I was waiting to see what her response was going to be. Was it going to be a yes? Or was it going to be a no? Okay, we're in, she replied. Where is it? IOI, indicator of interest. It's just down the street from my house, I told her. Come swoop me up. If you do the driving, I'll buy the beer. Hoop. I actually didn't have a car at the time, so the only way that I could get her to the place was to have her pick me up, but I didn't want to be like a loser and be like, yeah, could you give me a ride? So I tried to make it smooth and say, check this out. If you do the driving, I'll pick up a case of beer. That's fair, right? Ha, okay, she agreed. Compliance. Michelle and Michael, her gay friend, which we call a gay mog, kind of like an A-mog, which is an alpha male of the group, but in this case, since he's homosexual, we now call it a gay mog. He's the gay male of the group, which is still an obstacle. Now I'm going to work a two-set. Michelle and Michael, her gay friend, picked me up, and I picked up a case of Budweiser from the store, and we went over to Adam's house. I introduced them both to Adam and a few of his guests. The house was jam-packed. Adam had hired a DJ and rented beer pong tables and had the jacuzzi going out in the backyard. This is Adam. He's a wild man, I told her. How do you know Ryan? Adam asked her. This guy is the man, he said, playing wingman for me. Notice how he's bringing me up. Haha, he just kind of showed up. Now I can't get rid of him, Michelle said, giggling. I went into Adam's bathroom to call up my other wingman, Nick. I needed reinforcements for this one. Hey, bro, are you busy? Can you come through to Adam's house right now? I got this bitch over here I think I can close, but I need some more AI, I told him. Basically, I'm asking him for more accomplishment intro, so if he comes over, he can bring me up too. Build value in the eyes of my target. Oh, for sure. I got you, Nick replied. I danced around with Michelle for a few moments, and we took some Jaeger shots and a few ridiculous selfies. Nick rolled through momentarily to throw me an oblique AI. Hey, Ryan. What up, my man? Nick said out loud. Hey, Nick, what's up, brother? Let me introduce you to some new friends. This is Michelle, and this is Michael. They're good people, I told him. Nick remained professional and shook Michelle's hand in the normal business-like manner, not trying to check her out or hit on her, but just simply a formal introduction. That's key. Should write that one down. Pleasure to meet you, he told her, as he then focused back onto me, just as I had taught him to do in class. So basically, he says, oh, it's nice to meet you, and then back to me. Because she's just a person. I'm the value, because I'm the primary in this situation. Hey, Ryan, he continued, spoken obliquely so that everyone in the room would thus be able to hear him. So basically, they're here. He knows they're here, but he's speaking like, so hey, Ryan. They can hear everything I'm saying. I just wanted to swing by for a second because I knew you were over here. I just wanted to thank you for the other day, man. You really helped me out a lot. I couldn't have done it without you. Creating a false scenario designed to display value. Haha, I laughed as I shook Nick's hand. No problem, bro. That's what friends are for. Nick turned to Michelle and Michael and said to them, so he now turns to the target and says, Ryan is so awesome. I had to move into my new apartment, and Ryan was right there to help me move my stuff, while the rest of my friends never even showed up, thus demonstrating a protector of loved ones, DHV spike. Michelle seemed impressed. So basically, he comes over, shakes their hand, thanks me, and then tells them, Ryan is such an awesome guy. All my friends bailed up, but he was right there to help. This guy's a good guy. This guy's a good friend. So in her mind, in the target's mind, my value then increases. Because if she's dating me, she knows she's dating a dependable guy she knows I'm the man, essentially. Anyways, bro, Nick continued, I gotta get back to work. I start my new job today. Thus demonstrating that he, too, is also a high-value male. By speaking in this fashion, this would make anything that he said seem much more credible in the eyes of my target. No worries, bro. Hit me up later on. We'll catch up, I replied. Nick left, and I then continued on DHVing to Michelle. I told her a few interesting stories about my past, and then I told her I want to try something. Michelle looked over at me inquisitively. What's that? I leaned in towards her 90%, initiating a kiss close. She didn't move back, so I moved in the remaining 10% until our lips touched. Kiss close. After we kissed, I backed off. Calibration. You have soft lips, I told her nonchalantly. I like that. Positive reinforcement. Michelle looked at me in the eyes, as if wanting me to continue. So I went in for a second, but this time a much more passionate kiss. Simultaneously, as this makeout session was starting to begin, I remembered that Michael was still in the room, and he still had the power to pull Michelle out of the situation. So, I stunted our makeout session momentarily and suggested that we, as a group, all go out to the dance floor and go snack on some chips and get another round of drinks. So basically, I'm still working a two-set. I don't want to alienate or ignore the obstacle. So I make out with Michelle, my target, for a few moments, build some trust, some comfort. Not trying to arouse her. It's not what kissing is for. Kissing is comfort building. Gets her used to my touch. So I build a little trust, comfort, connection. And then I go ahead and I take the whole group as a unit and move us to go hang out. So it's not all about me and her. It's more like we're all hanging out as friends. Very different group dynamic. At this point, Michael had then suddenly mentioned to us that he already had plans for the evening, and that his friend was coming through to pick him up. Which is good for me. Michael left shortly thereafter, and then Michelle and I moved into a mini isolation on Adam's living room couch and continued making out. You want to go over to my place and watch a movie? I asked her. Michelle looked at me in the eyes and smirked, replying seductively, what if we only make it to the car? SOI. Statement of intent. Big time. At that, I knew the close was imminent. So I stood up, took Michelle by the hand, dominantly, and led her outside. The two of us hopped back into her black Yukon and drove back to my place, which was only a few blocks away. I opened the front door and took Michelle by the hand, leading her directly into my bedroom, and laid her down on her back. Full close. 6 hours total accumulated time. Now that's from the initial eye contact to sex. 6 hours. The two of us made love together passionately for the remainder of the evening, until we both finally passed out. When we awoke the following afternoon, she said, I should probably get going. Oh, you got work? I asked. No, but I'm sure you got things to do and stuff, she said. Well, actually, today's my day off. I was actually just going to order pizza and lay in bed all day like a bum and watch Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Ever seen it? I asked, hinting for her to stay. Ha, okay, sure, she replied. At that, the two of us spent the rest of the day in bed, eating Domino's double pepperoni and extra cheese pizza, hot wings and ranch dressing, and watching Bill and Ted and fucking each other's brains out. Michelle quickly became the love of my life, and about a month later, we officially became boyfriend-girlfriend. Facebook official. Shortly thereafter, I moved out of my condo and into Michelle's place. And we were together for the next 2 years. Hands down, it ended up being the wildest ride of my fucking life. No joke. So anyway, what did we learn? We learned in this story, it's cool to have a wingman. It's also even better to have a lot of wing guys, like a whole team of wings. See, it wasn't just me and a wingman on this one. Me and 2 wingmen worked the 2 set until I got the number close. Then my other wingman, Adam, was having a house party. Now, Adam just happens to have a mansion in Las Vegas. It's dope. He's still here. Throws great parties. And just because I know him, that builds value for me. And now gives me a place to bring my target. I also called my other wingman, Nick, to come in and throw me an AI. So I was using 4 wing guys in order to complete this seduction. So for me, like my entire social circle, we're all PUAs. We're all master PUAs. And we're all work as each other's wing. For example, right now, if my wingman Christian met a girl, and they say he's out right now on a Friday night at Mandalay Bay, and he doesn't, maybe his car runs out of gas. Maybe he locks his keys in his fucking car, and he has no way to get his target to an isolation location where he can then call me up and I can go pick him up, and or something like that. Or maybe I'm having a party at my place this weekend, and that gives him a place to call up whatever girls he's working on and say, hey, my buddy Ryan is throwing a house party. You should come with. You should tag along. We might need a wild card. Something like that. Or for me, maybe Christian's having a barbecue on Tuesday. So the girl that I meet last week, I can say, yeah, my buddy's having a barbecue on Tuesday. You should come through. Bring some girlfriends. Whatever. So then I can have a target, bring more girlfriends for some of my other guy friends, some of my wing guys. So we work together as a team. And anyway, I discuss a lot more of this in the book. I hope you liked that story. That's just kind of like my style of game. It's cool to do this stuff on your own, but I believe that it's much better to rely on a team of guys, and it's more fun. You know, it's like Mario Brothers, 2 players. Mario and Luigi got to save that princess. Anyway, if you guys like this video, give it a big thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel for more. Click on playlists on where it says Ryan JAUNZEMIS Master Pickup Artist, and there's hundreds of videos in there that have all great dating relationship tips that can help you guys to meet, attract, date, and seduce more beautiful women. So hope you guys had fun. It was fun hanging out, and I will see you on the next one. Be safe. Peace.